I've watched a deterioration, and I don't know whether I've been part of it by not speaking out before this. We tend to just look at our own narrow sphere through some form of selfishness that we don't realize. And when I came back from Vietnam, I had urine thrown in my face. And I had people like John Kerry sitting up in front of Congress making statements that were totally false, misleading, inflammatory to society about who and what we were all about. I fought with honor, and I love my country. I really do. I've been overseas for many years, Greece, Germany, South Africa, and I've watched a nation that I had faith in slowly become a victim to the parasites, and it's being fed by an elitist group, both Republicans and Democrats, the rhinos and the socialists, the progressive socialists that just want to tear it down. In schools, we're not teaching our children how to think, we're teaching them what to think, as long as it fits an agenda. We're gutting this nation, we're gutting the actual things that made this nation great. And if you speak up, you're considered a pariah, you're considered some form of a social misfit. You're slandered and attacked. And I'm very sad. I'm sad I'm watching this happen to my nation. I'm 65 years old, and I can't leave this earth without fighting for this country. It's it's depressing because they just don't see it. The people that are in power and our politicians, they just don't see it. They don't have a clue. They're narcissistic, self-grandizing elitists that just, as long as the bottom line shows a profit margin, they don't care what they're doing to the soul of the nation. This nation is soul sick. And this is where we're going to leave our kids? No, this ain't right, son. This ain't right.
A lot of people don't realize that when I watched on the news 17 brothers and sisters that had fallen in battle, and that they had to get a nonprofit organization to bury them when they receive death gratuities on that contract that's promised to them if they do fall and give the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, that they will be taken care of along with their families. That we as a government couldn't do that. And then I watched a World War II veteran who wasn't able to get to his war memorial that he was told was closed because of politics. And when an 89-year-old man tells you that the beaches of Normandy were closed when he arrived, and he said that he was going to open up the war memorial when he got there, well, you know, I need to do more than just my part to sit back and watch the news.
Every military base provides what's called a funeral detail. So somebody that ever served or is currently serving in the armed forces, they die, and the base sends out a team. That's their job, is to render them the honors due to a deceased veteran. I was on one myself, and that didn't happen. But how much does it really cost to send out, 5, 6 soldiers, 2, 4 soldiers, to render that final honor to someone who served our country, who may have bled for our country? That's unconscionable. That is the height of villainy for a commander-in-chief to allow that to happen when the money was there. But he found some way to not allow that to happen. That's simply unconscionable, and that's why I'm here today, to add my voice to those that are saying treat the veterans with the respect that they've earned and sacrificing for our country.
I've had friends personally that I've known that have paid the ultimate price. Okay, when I signed my life for 8 years in the government, I got my DD 214. I'm a veteran. I'm no longer in. When they paid the ultimate price, and I saw firsthand citizens that become military, that are willing to fight for this country, to stand up. Okay, push comes to shove, we'll push back. Okay, we're not pushovers. Okay, we've seen that we've been tried and tested. I mean, combat. We have a vested interest in this country to be successful and to function, to be open, for the compromises to work, for the government to, to start talking to the different politicians start talking to one another. And so then because of this dedication, spirit to Corps, I was in the Marine Corps. The Marines are proud about our history. We're told about our history. Our history is important to remember, okay? We should cherish what has happened. We don't have a bad, disdainful history. We have a good history. Americans as a whole, we should be proud of ourselves, proud of our founding fathers. Not everything's been perfect, okay? The founding fathers, they owned slaves, okay? That's immoral, okay? We got people that are trying to, usurp power in the federal government to take away from the state, the local, from our neighbors. That's immoral.
My father was a veteran of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam Wars. And he died earlier this year. So I stand for all those who have gone before us and all those who stood in D.C. recently behind barricades. And I think, like many Americans, when they barricaded those who defended the freedoms of those in the White House or in Congress, they barricaded Americans. They barricaded ordinary Americans whose sons and daughters went off to war, many who never came home. I think that insult to the very message of duty, honor, service to those who have given all and so much, to the moms and dads and to the families, is an insult to all Americans. So who am I not to be down here today with some of our greatest Americans, our veterans, our men and women who have been there for us.
What is it about it, though, that is so terrible about the Affordable Care Act?
The Constitution does not allow our federal government to mandate that I buy something. Because if they can mandate that I buy something, what's to stop them from mandating that I do something under a host of taxes, according to Chief Justice Roberts?
Obamacare is going to break the back of this country. And many of us are already seeing the impact of increased insurance rates. Many are losing jobs. Homelessness is up tremendously.
This is going to lead to the impoverishment of the middle class. I was just reading an article about two people in California who were Obama voters, but they were shocked that this new Obamacare exchange insurance was going to cost them somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 more a year. Each. $10,000 more a year. Now for the middle class, that is an enormous burden. That's what takes a middle class person into the lower class. That is not going to facilitate job creation, upward mobility. That's going to lead to impoverishment of a wide section of Americans. And for what? They had health insurance before. They were paying their bills, but now the federal government is just arbitrarily making their bill that much larger to pay for what? For what cause? For what cause do they have to hurt this person to this degree?
It doesn't open up the opportunity for independent vendors. It consolidates and creates a complete monopoly that the government is forcing us to become reliant upon. And I think that goes against our values, and I think it violates the Sherman antitrust law. And I believe it's unconstitutional because of the misappropriation through creating the law and coming through the Senate instead of the House.
It is by design intended to nationalize the healthcare industry, drive out the health insurance industry, completely destroy the private market for health insurance, and get all of America on the government rolls. And if you look at other countries that have this, it's not a good thing. It's ridiculously expensive.
I think everybody, should get help, but I don't think that, the government is capable of managing this. And I think, in many ways that less government is better. I've seen so many, government failures. If we thought local, bought local, and supported local, then we would be less susceptible to a authoritarian regime.
What do you hope that they hear from you and from people just like you that are thinking the same thing?
Oh, it's as clear as day, son. It really is. It's an easy answer. First, we need to impeach Barack Hussein Obama. Second, we need to bring those people to justice that were part of Fast and Furious, Benghazi, the IRS scandal. They've operated with impunity in that thing, as if they're a dictatorship. We've had no justice for anything. And then all of the rhinos and all the people that are in bed, there's no difference between a Democrat and a rhino anymore. We want them all out. I want them out. I want them out.
I keep on focusing back to the mindset of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama in Benghazi, and you have to understand the mindset. When they would, in Benghazi, not answer the call for help, tell military men and women nearby to stand down, and do that more than once, and Obama goes to a fundraiser, and Hillary Clinton denies all accountability. When our ambassador is slaughtered and killed because we did not want to be responsible, we did not want to offend because of political correctness, and then they deny all and blame it on a filmmaker. But the ultimate insult to me was when those 4 flag-draped coffins came home, and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton met with the families and blamed it on the filmmaker. Now you think about it, they looked them in the eye, these families, and they said to those families, we're going to get to the bottom of this filmmaker, it shouldn't have happened. Can you imagine the mindset of anyone doing that? That's deliberate.
We've paid a cost for this government to act in accordance with the Constitution, and when it doesn't, we take it personally. We get kind of mad about that, and since we took our responsibilities as service members seriously, we definitely take our responsibilities as citizens seriously.
I'm Native American. My ancestors are Native American. We let a culture come into our property, our lands, hundreds of years ago. What happened to our Native American culture? It disappeared to small reservations, to small pockets, where it almost was annihilated. We still exist, but we exist as Americans. The American way of life is happening to you right now the same way. And if you can't see that, then you're too busy sitting on the television in the recliner with the remote control, or on your Xbox game, or your Facebook page, or your social media device. You've got to get up and do something. You've got to get up and protest. We did in the 60s, did in the 70s, they did in the 80s. I'm asking this generation, why aren't you protesting?
I support, this constitutional republic that we have, and I think that for the average citizen, it involves voting, and that is what I want to happen. I want people to vote in 2014 so we can impeach the president for these transgressions, and we can start, put this country on a path that'll fix some of these bad laws.
We have elected a president that doesn't have a clue. He really doesn't. He didn't grow up as an American. He didn't hunt with me. He didn't fish with me. He didn't play soccer, basketball, or football with me. He sure the hell didn't serve in the jungles of Vietnam with me during Tet Offensive. He sure the hell wasn't there when I got hit, holding my hand or my head and medevacing me. He has no idea. He just doesn't have a clue what it is to be an American and what makes America so great. He has a vision, and his vision is to destroy this nation, to gut it, to reform it in his image. That's bull, son. That's bull. I won't allow it. So I'm angry. I'm angry as hell. I'm angry as hell that there's American people sitting home, sitting on their asses, not doing a damn thing about it, and allowing it to happen. Get up, speak, get out, say something. This is unacceptable.